Howdy y'all, Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. As you can see, I'm back in Red Sky Bay. I just returned from my trip to Washington, D.C. to visit NASA. Well, actually, I visited the museum where NASA was presenting about the upcoming August 21st solar eclipse. And I'm going to have a bunch of episodes more specifically covering things that they talked about there, like eclipse safety, which the short version is don't look into the sun without ISO-approved equipment. Normal sunglasses, terrible idea. Also, what else? Don't park on the side of the interstate when the eclipse starts. You will get rear-ended. It will be bad. Please do not do that. Stuff like that. Anyway, where was I? I was getting in a boat because if I'm going to talk about some of the stuff I saw at NASA, I'm going to need a way to show it to you. And so what I want to do today is to build a giant drive-in movie theater screen somewhere in the southern end of the bay where I can throw up my slides from the trip and video clips and that sort of thing. Now, some of them are going to be in, most of them were shot widescreen. One of them was shot portrait. But you know what? We can't always get what we want. Sometimes we just got to do the best we can with what we have. So first off, we're going to take all this sand and all this gravel, and we're going to use it to make a beautiful screen, or at least the concrete that will become our beautiful screen to show off our cool NASA stuff. So let's see, besides just general solar eclipse stuff, the eclipse itself, oh wow, that's more than I thought I was going to get out of that. Well, I might have to find a use for white concrete powder somewhere. So now we can go ahead and just collect all of the white concrete we will need for our drive-in movie screen. Should be, I'm just going to make it 16 by 9 blocks exactly, because that's exactly the proportions that I need for the video and the images I want to show. Let me see. How was the trip itself? It was nice. I got to go first to Charlottesville, Virginia, where my friend Brian Burke, who actually worked on Pitfalls and Penguins with me, is living now. So I got to see him for a little bit, and then I slept for 4 hours after the 9-hour drive or so to Charlottesville. Okay, you know what? I'm looking at how this is just spraying these into the ocean. And I'm not exactly thrilled about that component. I'm thinking I might be well served to bring this back a ways here. Yeah, that might help with that a little. And now it's nighttime. Great. Well, it's fine. We only need to get so much done. NASA hosted their solar eclipse preview so that those of us who live in the United States, which will be basically the path of the eclipse, would be able to appreciate what they had like kind of coming up in terms of both the science of the eclipse, the logistics of watching the eclipse. They had the National Park Service there, the Department of Transportation, lots of interested scientists talking about how they're going to use the eclipse to gather data. It should be a good time, and I'll go into more detail about that in future videos. But yeah, I really hope that, whoa. A little laggy, but that's okay. So I figure at this point, we will just find a place now to set up our screen. I probably should have brought some sort of scaffolding with me, but I figure anywhere I'm going to set up a screen, I can just use the axe to chop down some trees first, and then make the screen, the supports out of that. I was also thinking, like, I should make this like a drive-in theater, where it's facing like a field where people could park their cars. But really, maybe it should be somewhere that people can park their boats. So instead of having a drive-in movie theater, we'd have like a boat-in movie theater. And, actually, maybe I'll just set that screen up right along one of these little inlets here. I kind of think putting it as far south in the bay as possible might be good, though, just because that way it's going to be like up against here. It's only 9 blocks tall. And it doesn't have to be too high because it's from the point of view of people at sea level. Now, of course, that doesn't solve my lack of lumber problem. So let's go ahead and get some lumber support here by running this way. But yeah, I've also, I'm hoping to make a video about the museum itself, which is the museum that hosted the event. It is basically a First Amendment center for the nation, and it's privately owned and operated. So they have to, but it is a non-profit. It's unlike some of the museums in D.C. are actually like completely free because they're owned by the federal government and operated for the benefit of all citizens. And I'm sure that this is also operated for the benefit of all citizens, but they don't get tax money to run it, so they gotta, you know, charge money per head. But anyway, yeah, they had really cool, like they had newspapers from all over the world on display from the current day, and then they also had, I'm trying to think about how to safely do this. Probably the best way is just to shoot some of these guys in a row here. Oops. Oh, hello, you're actually coming to me. That, in theory, makes you easier to shoot, except that you're not, like, walking in a straight line, and you're attracting buddies. Hey, buddy. But, yeah. So, the museum has a really interesting archive of newspapers for the last, like, several hundred years from the United States. Like, they have things about, the newspapers about Benedict Arnold's treachery, like, from when it happened, which is crazy. They had, a bunch of other, like, news-related or news-adjacent, like, journalism and music and culture type things, too, in one of their new exhibits. That included, like, Bill Clinton's saxophone. Dang it. Where am I getting shot from? How did you get that close to me without me seeing you? Okay, this is one of the reasons that people don't work at night. It's dangerous. But anyway, so this screen needs to be 16 wide and 9 high. So I figure if I put it up 1, 2, 3 here, 4, and then just go 16 across, that'll probably take me, dang it, additional arrows from additional skeletons. How are you guys getting, is there like a little cave that they're like zipping out of over there? Anyway. But yeah, the museum was really interesting. They actually had like a real news helicopter in the lobby. They had one of the guard towers from the Berlin Wall, as well as like a segment from the Berlin Wall. And I'll show you more of this as we, once we actually get the slides up. But I'm just excited in general about the trip. And I'm looking forward to having some better thought out, like, expressions of the experience. Because right now, this is just me talking randomly, like, without having time to really organize my thoughts. But in general, super positive experience. Really glad I went. That looks like it could be 16 by 9. Yeah. We'll come back later when there's not so many zombies, and we'll also fix the supports. But in general, whoa, that's a big tower up there. I'm guessing that's something of Tango's. But anyway, in general, glad to be home. Had a big trip, good time. Oh, I got to ride the train into DC. Didn't bring enough boats over here. Let's see, my brain is just all over the place. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know, with a quick video, that I have returned, and that I have many things to share with you, although right now, I'm all sleep-deprived from the long, long drive. Oh my goodness, I-40 was closed on the way back. Like, I had to go down almost to Chattanooga, practically, down 75, back up 24, which if you're from Tennessee, you would understand that is not how you get from Knoxville to Nashville. But anyway, core concept, I have things to show you, I have a place to show them to you now. I kind of was tempted to build it over here by all the pigs, but I like that I can move all the pigs. Actually, that's a real pain. Do you know how long it takes to move all of these pigs? But yeah, I can turn some of them around. Have them look at the screen over there. Yeah, that's kind of an okay idea. Anyway, this is just some quick ramblings with Joe Hills. We're going to have more builds on the way. We're going to have NASA stuff. We're going to have more of our Dungeons & Dragons and our castle and house construction. Just a lot of things. Exciting, exciting times. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.